Thank you very much, Dr. Tutu. And I welcome now former Ambassador Robert Joseph.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here today. Let me begin, as others have, by thanking our sponsors for organizing this impressive conference, but mostly for all of their tremendous efforts to promote a democratic and free republic in Iran. My comments will focus on Iran's nuclear program, something I've been following for the past decade, first in the White House, then at the State Department, and now out of government. My remarks will emphasize the interrelationships between the future of the nuclear program and the future of the current regime in Tehran. Put simply, as long as the existing rulers endure, their quest for nuclear weapons will continue. This leads to my bottom line. While international isolation, economic sanctions, covert actions, and even the possible use of force can slow the progress of the nuclear program, the key to permanently ending the program is the replacement of the present regime through the resistance of the Iranian people. I will, in doing so, abandon my 28 years of experience in government, including the last years at the State Department, and come right to the point. I want to do three things. First, briefly address the status of the program. Second, talk about why we must care. And third, lay out the options, at least as I see them, for ending the program. Let me start with the report last October by the International Atomic Energy Agency, which received a great deal of attention. The report, I believe, set a new benchmark. It rang the alarm bell loud and clear. The report emphasized continuing progress being made in the program, operating more centrifuges than ever before, accumulating a stockpile of enriched uranium, which if further processed could produce enough for four weapons, and tripling the production of enriched uranium to the 20% level that would significantly shorten the time to reach weapons-grade material. While these assessments are of concern, the most alarming aspects of the report dealt with what the agency described as research, development, and testing activities that would be useful in actually designing nuclear weapons. In other words, Iran is working on the building blocks for making atomic bombs and placing those weapons in its ballistic missiles. In an ongoing game of cat and mouse, Iran recently invited IAEA inspectors back into the country, but when they arrived, provided them with no access to people, no access to facilities, and no new substantive information. While the inspectors will, for their own reasons, return in about 10 days, I would not anticipate any breakthroughs. In fact, my sense is that the Iranian regime may well have decided to accelerate its acquisition of nuclear weapons. It sees the increase in the effects of sanctions on the economy, and it wants to create an accomplished fact, a fait accompli, as other proliferators have done. Even more important, perhaps, the regime sees what is occurring in the Islamic world and desperately wants to avoid at all costs the fate of leaders in Tunisia, in Egypt, and Yemen, and most of all, the fate of Gaddafi in Libya. They may well believe that had Gaddafi not given up his nuclear weapons program in 2003, he may have prevented or even deterred NATO's intervention and remained in power. In any case, the sense of urgency developed by the October report and subsequent Iranian actions has led to a number of very strong statements at the highest levels of U.S. government. In late January, Secretary Panetta stated that Iran could develop a nuclear weapon in about 1 year, adding that this is a red line by saying that all necessary steps would be taken to stop it. President Obama, in a State of the Union message, received a standing ovation from Congress, Republicans and Democrats alike, when he said, and I quote, "Let there be no doubt that America is determined to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon."